Hello, I am Drag, and in this video, I and in this video, I kinda wanted to talk about my weird roleplay and D&D experiences. Granted, I only really have one D&D experience, like with the same group of people, but So my first ever quote-unquote D&D experience actually happened over Tinder. Funny enough. We were trying to get to know each other. We were both storytellers, so we decided, oh, why don't we just have a mini D&D campaign since we're both into D&D, or we're trying to get into it. And we did, and I had my Mr. Mime, and they had themselves and two other characters. And how this worked was whenever we had a sort of stand-in character that we could both control at any given time to ask for clarification in universe, or just have a character that didn't know what to do. That character was the I guess the comic relief. So I had my character and my Mr. Mime, Yizengtu. I'm sure you've seen him a couple of times. And the way that this would go was that the Tinder chat was just so thick. It was the thickest, like each message was like 9 paragraphs. And we would actually only really roll for how much, basically in battles, we would only really roll for battles whenever we wanted to see the effects of something. Above 10, it worked. Below 10, it didn't work. Nat 1s, critical fail. Nat 20, critical pass. And that is how we would do it. And it's so funny because at one point, the other person was like, I want to separate you and that character because I want to see how they would react. I think that they would panic. And then they separated our characters via a flash of light when we were in a swamp, in a cave. Just go with it. And what happened was my character, my stand-in character actually freaked out. And Mr. Mime, Yuzengsu, was fine because he grew up in a cave. And I was just... I like D&D or role-playing games in general because of that, but I don't roleplay with people online, and that's because people are weird, and I don't have time for that. Like one like genuinely weird story. It was a fetish story, and it involved like a cat. No, a kitsune, and it was like wearing a diaper or something. And I was like, maybe they don't wear diapers. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I just tried, and they just were not giving me anything. And I was just like, yeah, no, I don't want to roleplay anymore. And then they just never responded to that. But yeah, that's why I don't roleplay with people online, because they're weird, and I don't want to have to deal with them. It sounds like a really petty reason, but once you've experienced it, yeah. So, to the current... No, it's not. It's not the current year. Jumping to my normal experiences, I was at college, or at my college at the time, and I noticed some of my friends were with somebody that I didn't recognize, and this, the DM had elf ears on. I'm like, oh, I like your elf ears. And then she was just like, oh, thank you. And, I was like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, we're playing D&D. And I'm like, oh, you guys are playing D&D. I was like, oh, I want to play. But I couldn't actually join at that time because I don't remember what they were doing, but apparently they did it every Tuesday. So I was like, oh, can I make a character? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And my first ever character that I made specifically for a D&D campaign is the character that is being drawn right now. His name is Erden Robert, and he is based on a Pokemon. He was always based on a Pokemon when I first made the when I first made him, and he doesn't actually look like that Pokemon. I mean, he does in this picture, but that's because I wanted him to. But in the actual campaign, he does not look like this. His face and ears look the same, but he is fatter, and he has a beer gut because he hates everything. The way that he is drawn in this picture was taken 2 years prior. This is how he looks in my quote-unquote campaign, which is based on my playthrough of Pokemon Y. And he is much more helpful in that one. How he is in this new campaign, he's bitter, he hates everyone, and he'd really rather just be at home getting drunk. And he is a very reluctant helper, and I like characters like that. And when I was describing his personality, the DM was like, "Oh, so he's Wolverine." I'm like, "No, he's not Wolverine. He's like this guy. Like he just hates everybody, and he doesn't want to do anything, but at the same time, he does it because he hates being bored." And then she's just like, "So he's Wolverine?" I'm like, "No, he's not Wolverine." And then she explained to me Wolverine's character, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess he's Wolverine." The hero that doesn't want to be a hero. And I am all for it. His specialties in the official D&D campaign are hallucinatory magic, but because he hates everybody and really hasn't used his own magic in quite a while, except for his unseen servant, he's kind of forgotten how to use a lot of it, except for his Thunderwave Belch, which it's pretty self-explanatory. He burps and he makes an AoE attack that's really overpowered now that I think about it, because AoE attacks, no matter what, they deal damage, even if you pass the check. But in my Y campaign, Gijinkaverse, he actually is much more helpful. And Chipper... No, he's not Chipper. That would be disgusting. But he is, he's different. He's much more willing to help people in that one. And that is because his life hasn't gone down the shitter. But, I don't know. I guess that's really... I guess that's just... If the people in my D&D campaign watch this video, they'll have a little more of his backstory on why he is the way that he is, even though I didn't really explain anything. So yeah, thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe, press that like button, and give me money on Ko-fi, because I am a broke college student and I want money. And yeah. Bye!